an atomic bomb to destroy a country. All you need to do is to mess with the system of education. And Madam Effa put a challenge to us that we are the majority in the education system. We can either destroy it or make it. So our dear chief guest is none other than Dr. Elias Mokua from Western Kenya, that's Nyanza, Kisii. He's a Jesuit brother. And he holds a PhD in media and communication. He teaches at the University of Nairobi and at the Hekima College, which is the institute raised up by the Jesuits. He is the executive director of Loyola Center for Media and Communication. He also has a background in education as he holds a bachelor's degree in education. He is a religious brother, meaning he is very single but not searching. Very single and not searching. And therefore, I humbly take this opportunity to welcome him to make his presentation. Let us give him a round of applause.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. So Father Crispin is spoiling my afternoon, but we'll square it out. All protocols observed. I wish to thank you so much, the organizers of this conference, for inviting me and my team from Loyola Center for Media and Communications to discuss a little bit about ICT and how it can be integrated into education system. It's a very wide area, as you will appreciate, and so we're going to share a little bit of what we think might be useful for you in your various schools, based on our experience of doing the same, teaching in different schools, training different schools to adopt some of these technologies for teaching and learning. I'd like to quickly indicate that ICT is a kind of older language. It's a kind of older language. Now, the more specialized language is edutech, education technology, just to be precise, because ICT is pretty broad. But since here we're specifically talking about education, the focus is on education technology, and that's how some of these works are being presented to us. I have three parts. I'm here with my colleagues, Cynthia and Teresia. They are going to present as well. So we're going to segment this presentation into three. First of all, I'm going to give the macro level experiences we have. Teresia will pick it up and give some very practical, excuse me, very practical demonstrations of what AI can do in schools. And Teresia will also provide some of the takeaways, some of the things we can do using AI. So that's the outline. That's how we want to proceed in the interest of time, realizing that this area is is a very interesting area, and is one of the areas that is really radically changing. Those of us who have been teachers for long, we have a tradition of how to teach, but also how to learn. We know how students are supposed to learn. We know how to do assessments. So we have all this tradition, the teaching and learning pedagogy. But what we present to you this afternoon has its own advantages, but also it's a very disruptive technology that we're going to speak about. So here are a few of my learning questions, or my presentation questions that I hope will be useful to you. Number one, I don't want to spend too much time laying the ground for ICT adaptation, or adoption rather, or uptake into schools, because it's already grounded. We know the SDGs already have very clear justification why all schools need to adopt technology for teaching and learning. So in that case, then, it's a global interest, it's a global promotion. It's not something that we are doing as Catholic institutions only, but beyond Catholic institutions, this is a global interest, a global agenda that children need to learn using this technology because of the levels of work and the levels of knowledge that are expected in the 21st century. But also here in Kenya, we have the Vision 2030 as a country. And in that, if we had time to look at it, you realize that in the sector of education, technology is highly pronounced. So in that sense, I really don't need to spend much time to justify or to tell you that it's very important for us to adopt. I guess we are in agreement that technology really enhances both teaching and learning. But I want very, very specifically to talk about our focus here. Now, technology has many stages, as you know. There's the conceptualization stage, there's the development stage, and then there is the optimization stage. Now, for us, and what we want to do with you is basically to present the last part of these innovations, which is optimization. Now, we are like car sellers. Car sellers are very knowledgeable about cars, but they don't make cars. They can't make cars. So we don't make these tools of technology ourselves. We actually dwarfs. We don't know anything about it. But when it comes to optimization, usage of these tools, of these infrastructural assisted tools, or assistive tools, I think we have experience to be able to speak to an esteemed audience like yourselves. So let's focus on one element of education technology, which is artificial intelligence. How many of us here use ChatGPT? Okay, how many of us use size space, consensus, elicit, connected papers, Notebook LM, the Chinese one, DeepSeek? Okay, all of us are into ChatGPT, so at least we have one example. We will show you a few more examples. So the question is, how much is this technology really changing our learning and teaching? Some schools have adopted, some are yet to adopt. But also we need to locate this discussion of technology around the main stakeholders. How are parents' expectations changing in regard to education? What exactly do they want out of education? Schools themselves have their own expectations. What exactly do they want out of education? But also the learners themselves, they have their own expectations. What exactly do they want out of this expectation? If we were to delve deeper, we will realize that at some point we have to match these expectations, and what technology is doing is somehow to match these expectations. But we also have a lot of ethical issues, and I'll point out some of them. So let's talk about generative teaching and learning, the experience we have. At the moment, we've been talking about the fourth industrial revolution, But we realize that the world is moving much faster than the fourth industrial revolution. We've been talking about the internet or Internet of Things for long, but we are going beyond that, especially because of artificial intelligence. And because of that, we're reaching an area where even robots, for example, robotics and some of these machine learning techniques and tools are really doing a lot of work to a point where we don't know whether we need to be present to do many of the jobs we do. In the Nordic countries, there are robots who are teachers. I don't know who are teachers. So at some point, maybe even teachers will be replaced by robots. And that, of course, tells us something about the education, the goals of education in the first place. We are dealing with the generation Alpha, which has grown up in the era of internet. They don't know anything else. They know the gadgets. They are very good at that. They do these computer games. They understand how to manipulate those gadgets in a very, very sophisticated manner. And when it comes to learning, they, by their own being, as young people growing up in this internet age, they are very exploratory. So there's so much they do that they, even if we didn't tell them, they want to integrate into their learning, So, and of course, the Gen Z, some of them, especially the latter ones, they're very much deeply involved in this technology. Now, when we have them in our schools, it's important. Of course, we know there are areas where internet penetration is not so high, and not every family has all these technologies. But nevertheless, we want to believe that going forward, it will be very difficult to teach children without incorporating some of these technological aspects. Research has shown that some of these children, not some, in teaching and learning, of course, we have a teacher and a student. The students who have used these AI tools, over and above, they have increased their performance. But there is a condition. If they are tutored, then their learning really increases. If you learn for yourself these technologies without proper training, you can only go so much and stagnate. So what that leads us to is that as teachers, as schools, as institutions, we need to really begin to think about the place of technology in our schools, in our institutions. The other reason why we really need to concern ourselves is that there are many jobs that are going to be obsolete. Many new careers are coming up, are emerging, but there are many other works that we have done over centuries that are becoming obsolete, basically. So what does that mean for us who run schools? It means that we need to understand the way we've been training children, the way we train our kids or students is not going to be the same, because the end product, the person who is wanted at the very end, the competencies, the skills, the knowledge levels are going to be very different. So if you work backwards, you realize that then that somehow we have to revisit our own educational pedagogy and the values and the careers that we insist we think these children are going to adopt or going to take, and reorganize our own curriculum so that we can move with the science of the time. Of course, technology is very advantageous. It's the big thing about technology. There are two main factors. It's cheaper. It makes work better, faster, more efficient in many ways. And also, it saves costs. So who doesn't want to save some coins? CBC, as we know it, if you've seen successful schools in CBC because they have the capacities necessary, you realize that more and more teaching is shifting from the center, from the periphery to the center. This kind of arrangement we have here is kind of shifting so that the teacher is not even at the center. The teacher moves around class because teachers the learners are not seated facing the teacher. So this kind of traditional classes are disappearing in many parts of the world. Now, where does that leave us? That tells us that even as Catholic institutions, we need to really understand, if we want to remain relevant and competitive, we need to understand how do we adapt to this new way of teaching and learning, because CBC is very hands-on. It's very hands-on. So whether you are doing biology, chemistry, whether you are teaching history, or religion, there's so much that's hands-on. And with these tools, as my Cynthia and Teresia will show you, there's so much you can do with just your computer from your laptop computer lab, from your computer lab. So this then makes us begin to realize that the practice we have had over years and perfected in the way we handle children has got to change with time. And that time begins now. So we also talk about the characterization of the modern day or the current child, student. Who is this child? Most of these children are talking about 21st century values, 21st century jobs. And we all know how they are pretty restless if we don't really address the values that speak to them, and we don't offer the kind of interaction that makes sense to them. So in which case then, here are some of the big wins or some of the advantages of technology. Number one, it increases interactivity between teachers, students, and parents. Remember that triangle of relationships in schools. Secondly, these technologies are going to make us better accountable in terms of performance and productivity, because as you will see, if we had time to show you, you will realize that there are many things that are changing, and we need to account for our time in school. We need to plan better. We need to understand the child before us, and therefore, in a sense, while on one hand, these technologies give us a lot of time because they can do things faster, we need to be more accountable in the way we spend our time in school. But also it raises the bar. I can tell you that my teaching at the university, okay, those are university students, has really changed in the last 2-3 years, that as LCMC, since we began delving deeper into these technologies, I've come to realize that I cannot teach more than this young generation by being at the center 2 hours, 3 hours of teaching, of interacting. They get bored, they switch off, and they begin texting each other, discussing you. So, and that includes the master students. So in a sense, we have to raise the bar of our teaching. Yeah, I've been pushed so much. Right now, I feel very good. I connect very easily with my own students. Even when everything is online, most of the lessons are online, I feel that I've pushed myself a lot because of this technology to understand how to work with them. It saves time on research. I don't know how many teachers really take time to do research, but research is very important. Even if you teach CRE, the Bible is the same, scripture is the same, or you teach, say, the STEM subjects, you still need to do some research because there's a lot of changes that's coming. And therefore, you need to appreciate that research is important. And unlike before, when we didn't have libraries in our schools, when you needed to move to the nearest university to get the latest books, this knowledge is available right in your house, in your office, in your staff room. So that's a very good win for us. And of course, there's the big thing of preparing classes and so on, which you can do in a moment. There is also a very strong win for us in terms of benchmarking. As you know, if you spend a lot of time online, you come to realize that there are many schools doing great works that we can learn from. Ideally, we should have gotten into flight and go to India or Europe or wherever to learn, but there's so much we can learn still, even if it's not exactly the same like a physical visit, but there's so much you can learn on how, especially understanding and relating to the new ways, new knowledges. Actually, there is such a thing as new knowledge because of these technological changes. So even epistemologically, we can still debate and say that the ways of knowing and learning are also changing and shifting. So, and also the conceptualization of problems. Now with CBC, there's so much emphasis on student-centered learning. So for us as teachers and for us as schools, especially for you as policymakers, you really need to see that your teachers are also shifting. Because if they stick to the traditional method of teaching, which I've done for the last 10 years or so or more, until I began to push myself to change, and if you go to any primary school, you realize that there's a very particular way 90% of all teachers teach. And this is the challenge. This is where we need to realize that we need to start changing. We need to adopt because of this technology. The type of tool you use, basically, another way, the type of tool you use to do cooking, to do plowing, to do, determines how you behave, And that's what this technology is doing for us. So we have to conceptualize academic problems in a very different way from what we used to do. But really, over and above, if you asked me, what's the one thing you can say this AI, artificial intelligence, is really doing to education? One positive takeaway is creativity. Really, if you want to learn, you can learn. If you want students to learn, there's so much you can empower them to learn. There's so much that can be done with this AI, actually at a very low cost than many people think. So let's also look at the other side of this life. The other side of this life of edutech, education technology, is that now, of course, most of us know that what keeps our jobs is when students pass. What happens when they fail? What happens when students fail? It affects our personal identity. You are not a performer, so we are looked at as not performers. Well, the one thing that, the one challenge we have had over the years is this exam-driven culture. Now, when we press students to pass exams, one of the dilemmas we're facing now is that technology is coming. Actually, if you adapt to this technology, it can make your work very easy. Very, very easy as a teacher, especially in secondary and primary schools. You can really have a field day. I can guarantee you that. We can guarantee you that. But now the question then is, once 3/4 of your work has been done, what do you do? How do you deal with your own time? How do you account for your time in school? Originality. The other ethical dilemma we're going to deal with is originality. Many students, I don't know how many of you are doing studies, and I don't know, does anyone want to raise their hand before I say? Who is enrolled in a program right now, studying somewhere? Okay, don't raise your hand because I know what you are going to say. Many students want one thing. How do I avoid plagiarism? That's their bottom line question. How do I avoid plagiarism? Is that true? Yeah, that's the nightmare of everything. But also, even for us teachers, it's very important, or us schools, to really handle this question carefully. Because it looks a small question, but it's a very difficult question, because you don't control parents when children go home. You don't control teachers 24 hours. You can try, follow here and there, but you don't. So the question of originality for teachers and students is still a question for debate, but there are ways to overcome that. Does learning happen because many kids can write essays now? How many are afraid the essays they mark are not written by the kids themselves? Who worries? Okay, you think all the essays is children who write? That's what you think? And you give them awards? Okay, see LCMC later. But a lot of work can be done, especially anything called home assignment can be done by these tools very, very easily. And as we said, these are alphas and millennials. They are so technologically connected that you can't beat them at that game. So the next question, my time is running out, should we think that this edutech, this education technology and AI are actually spoiling the party we had initially, are messing up education? People are becoming lazy, they can get answers, they don't have to memorize anything. Are we actually messing up with education? So that's one of the dilemmas we are learning, but from our experience, my own experience is you have to change your teaching methodology, but also the assessment. Actually, how we examine students is going to be a matter of life and death if we want to give them merited certificates. And also, Teresia is going to speak about administration works in schools, what you can integrate, and the other issues, I'm sure you handle them on cybersecurity. Now, what are some of the quick responses I can provide? One, technology is here to stay. So each school, and even those poor schools that are struggling, think about this technology. It might actually be a good support for your school, okay? It's the present and the future. So in a sense, there is a way in which it's a determined course. Because if we don't train children with this, where are they going to go eventually when they come out of the system? They will find that they can't succeed in securing jobs because they can't handle the basics of technology. Teacher training, especially in ethics, you need all these skills, but you also need edutech ethics. You need to understand what are the do's and don'ts, but also what are the boundaries. You need to be very creative to overcome some of the dilemmas we have. And finally, it's really important, I will recommend this to the organizers of this conference, to really consider forming a committee that will really look at the Catholic institutions and see to what extent can we adopt this technology, and particularly how do we then inculcate values in the learners. Because from experience, I've come to realize that it needs dialogue, especially with the students. We really need to sit with them, tell them we know you know this, and we know that you can use them, but how do we navigate this space together? So with that, I have many, many slides for you, but I will not take you through all of them unless you want to stay here until tomorrow. So if you want to stay up to tomorrow, I can continue. But for the time being, if you had taken a nap, now you can wake up. Thank you so much. Allow me to invite Teresia to take you through the second part. Where is our IT?
Through Father Crispinas, the moderator of the session, and everyone present, all protocols observed. Good afternoon. So my name is Teresia Muia, and I work at Loyola Center for Media and Communications as the Projects Officer, Digital Culture Program. There's a saying in our country, in Africa that goes, if you cannot beat them, join them before they break your limbs. So as Daktari has already told everyone that AI is here with us, and Gen Zs and Alphas appreciate it when they learn what they love most. From experience of, through our trainings at Loyola Center for Media and Communications, we have learned that the young people do not anymore anticipate to become doctors, teachers as we used to. They are talking about, I want to be an AI engineer, I want to be a robotics person, I want to be an app developer. So if we are not taking up to their pace, we might find ourselves walking alone. So what can AI really do in our setup as educators? That is why, and I want to quickly take you through this. And in my first slide, you can see some photos of some of our trainers at Loyola Center for Media and Communications. We've been doing this for some time. So what is the catch in AI as incorporating artificial intelligence in our school as either teachers, learners, or administrators? Daktari has already mentioned this, but you will realize that whenever you incorporate artificial intelligence, you'll be able to save a lot of time. The time that you use in lesson planning will actually be saved, and you can use that to engage with the learners. And by extension, you will also be saving costs. If first you used to pay someone to set the exam, now you can be able to set the exams yourself and print them out. So with the CBC curriculum, AI is here to enhance that skill-based learning, and most importantly, make learning interactive. So going step by step to what can AI really do to each of the players in education, to the school admins, to the teachers, and also to the learners. This is based on our experience in the trainings that we've done before and the surveys that we run with the admins, the school admins, that AI is doing magic in document handling, filing, protecting your documents, and everything around that. Communication and engagement with the school community, the teachers, and also parents. Feedback collection, you will all agree with me that school environment is the one that we need to collect a lot of feedback, especially from parents. How about, that AI can actually help us to collect this feedback? Making summaries as admins, you want to have a lot of notes, you have things that you want to put in short details, AI helping us to make our summaries, making PowerPoints for gatherings and events when we have to make presentations. And last but not least, event scheduling and calendar management, especially the school set with a lot of activities that you need to plan and look into. So those are some of the things that AI can do for the admins. So for the teachers, I know you agree with me that these tasks that are listed here are some very important things that if you saw someone helping maybe to sort them out, you could be a little bit happier. How about we tell you that this AI can help us in our lesson planning and taking us to saving time, preparing assessment materials and generation of quizzes and examinations, the cards that you do every time, that you can quickly come from class and prepare a card, print it and take it back to your learners. online exams, and admission and record keeping. In a way, Corona pandemic taught us one lesson or two that it almost put on hold most of our activities, including learning. So if we knew that AI can help us to administer these exams online, mark those exams, because we'll put automatic answers that we'll be able to mark for the learners and give us the reports, we would have maybe done better. And these are some of the things that we have found out through our research. Classroom PowerPoints, especially when dealing with younger generations, there's grade 1s, grade 2s, you would need some good interactive PowerPoints like this one of mine. I hope you all agree that it is good. So coming up with classroom content, notes, videos, and animations for learning. Learners can be able to actually generate these in a very simple way, and it can really form the basics for them to grow their careers. So classroom content and them making these videos and being in a position to access these materials online. Just asking, I want to understand about digestive system. They get some very good videos with photos, and they find fun in that. So classroom engagement and interactive learning. As we said, time is moving, and so when you find your class being a bit interactive, maybe taking them once in a while to the computer lab and doing some games with them, and choose a topic that you want to learn with them in format of a game, you will find that it's more impactful than just a class people sitting that like we used to do in your time, not my time. So what can AI do for learners? So personalized learning content. During your time, you used to follow a teacher for an equation of a straight line that you did not understand. Maybe the teacher will be too busy making notes for the next class. How about we show our learners that they can actually access these notes? They can go Google, search these in these tools. It's not Google, don't misquote me. So that you can actually go to a tool that will help you with these notes on equation of a straight line in a very fun and easy way, effective way for the learners. Visual interactive learning, and some very common tool is BlueCat. BlueCat is a gaming interactive tool that when you have a topic that you need to teach to the learners, or the learners themselves want to learn with their friends, they will have these questions set for them. They can do it in form of a game, and then they will be able to see the winner getting some prizes. And that way learning becomes more fun. So improved writing and research. With the writings that the learners do, we have tools that can help them. AI in art and creative skills. Again, we go to CBC, teaching learners to learn music, posters, design, videography, and a lot of other things that are creative. So in our research, we've found these tools that can help learners in art. Language learning. Maybe you've come across the Duolingo for those who are learning new languages, that there are tools that learners can use in their learning of languages. And it is really fun when this child after class, they can also be able to do this further. So exam preparations and practice tests. So they no longer need to carry a big load of papers and books with them, because they can find these things with the AI tools. So very quickly, some of the tools that we recommend for admins in their PowerPoints. We have tools like Elena, we have the Notebook LM for summaries, we have PDF for documents, we have Mentimeter for feedback, live feedback in fact, we have Calendly for scheduling and event planning in your school and all the activities that you have. So for teachers, lesson planning should no longer be stress and class PowerPoints. We have tools like Elena. For generating exams, we have tools like QuizGecko. We have quizzes for online test generations and admission of exams online, and also generating the reports for them. So Canva is also helping us with PowerPoints. For learners, I mentioned Bluecat for peer learning, Duolingo for language learning, Han or Khan Academy for teaching and learning resources for these learners. We have Canva, where they can learn design videos, do promos. And finally, we have an interesting one called Suno AI that will generate music. They can actually be small musicians. So, teachers in the house, I hope you all agree with me. I'm not demonstrating what this can do, but that is one of the tools. You can see it's called quizzes. You can see assessments. You can see lessons, interactive videos, passages. You can create classes online. You can add their email addresses. They will be able to access those classes. You can generate content for them. They can be able to learn, and this is a report. So when you look at Elena, you can see the menu already. Curriculum development, lesson plans, unit quizzes, syllabus. There is general assistance. There is classroom management. There is parent communication. There is a lot of more things that you can find in a tool like Elena. The Duolingo I just talked about, it's here. This one can help them to learn the new languages that you're trying to teach them. And we have, this is Khan or Han. You can see it has a lot of materials for them. And the fun bit of it is some are videos, and they love watching videos. So this is currently for scheduling events and meetings so that you can get reminders, and at least you don't run the risk of missing some of the activities that run in your busy schedules. So having said all this, thank you very much. I hope we learned something about what AI can really do. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Hanijiri. I work at Loyola Center for Media and Communications. I think I'm taller than this. Okay, I hope you can hear me well. As said earlier, my name is Cynthia Hanijiri. I work at Loyola Center for Media and Communications together with Dr. Mokua and Teresa. So before I get to my very, very short presentation, I'd just like us to try and see one of the tools that Teresa has been talking about, one of the tools that we can use for interactive learning. And I'm going to request your cooperation for just 2 minutes or 3 minutes, not necessarily everyone. I just need at least like 5-10 people to help us understand how this works. She mentioned Bluecat as one of the tools that students can use for interactive learning, whether they are in class or outside class. So I just want to show you how this works, and I'd like any of you who has internet or data, just go to Google and type Bluecat Play. Bluecat has a blue icon, the one that you can see here. So just type Blue Cat Play or Play Blue Cat. Then you'll get something like this that asks for game ID. Has anyone gotten it? If anyone, even if it's 2 people who get it, you can just notify me so that we can try this out. Anyone? Okay, all right, we have a few people. So this is gamified learning where learners are able to play and learn at the same time. So I've chosen okay, let me start again. Okay, let me, Okay, let's just create the game again for a few seconds. It's okay. Sorry for that. I think there's a problem. All right. It's taking some time. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we can do this at the end, as you can help me fix the internet. Then we can try this at the end. Is that okay? Yeah, it will just take a few minutes. Now, we've heard about AI in education, and so I want just briefly to present a proposal of how you can integrate AI in schools from wherever you are. So there are many ways that it can be done, but I'll just share with you one way that you can do it, and then you'll try to see if it works for you or not. We thought of something called a digital culture club that you can have in your school. Now, this digital culture club is student-led, and we need to think of it as an AI-powered resource club that supports all the other clubs and all the other subjects. When we talk about AI, integrating AI in schools, it's not just to benefit a specific group of students who are into that club, but it can be it can be used as a resource club that can benefit all the other clubs and all the other students. Now, one of the things this digital culture club can help you with, we've talked about saving time, saving costs, and increasing efficiency. So one of the things this club can do, it can help the drama club generate scripts, translate plays, come up with ideas for plays or dramas that they need. Instead of having someone spend for a 45-minute play, we usually say 1 minute, 1 page. So that's 45 pages of a play. So instead of spending all that time, you can just use a few minutes to come up with an idea, a few minutes to come up with an entire script that can go for 45 minutes, and it helps you save time a lot. It can assist the music club to write lyrics and create digital beats. Instead of having to go to the studio to create music, or bringing together all those instruments that you need to be able to create music, you can be able to use AI to generate the digital beats and use the same AI tools that are very simple and easy to use to edit the same and have your production. I don't know how long music production takes, but with these tools, you have less than a day, you have an entire production. Even if you don't have the lyrics, AI can still help you generate the music. This can support the journalism club to write articles and design school magazines and school newsletters, school posters, without having to go to pay someone to do the designs for you. You can just have the journalism club, have this digital culture club help the journalism club to design their own newsletters and their own magazines and their own posts. It's just very, very few minutes. And it can support all other subjects. As I said, we are looking at it as an AI resource club that can help create and generate resources that can be used in all the other subjects, science, CRE, English, all other subjects. You know, with technology, all the information is online. Now it's now about how you use it or how you make good use of it. So this can be used as a way of having enough material. And by material, I do not mean notes alone or just textbook. I mean every material that you may need, beginning from the plan of how to do it, the lessons, the cards, the way you do the assessment, the videos, the visuals, the images, everything that you need for whatever subject it is. And you can also have competitions. There are several schools in Kenya, not just Kenya, but I'm using Kenya because that is the setting we are at. Several schools in Kenya, many are adopting AI in their schools, and they usually have competitions. So having this in your schools means that when the kids come together, they can be able to share ideas, grow, expand their minds, have collaborations, collaborate in events, and do all those things. So if you create this digital culture club in your school, you just need a teacher to help the students. And for mentorship, the students will just need like 2 or 3 sessions of mentorship to understand how it works. And they are able to run it by themselves. It's not like something that they're supposed to be taught forever. It's just something they master and they're able to run it. These kids are very creative. So they're able to explore and create. They're not passive who are just consuming the content that is provided for them. They are very active because they're also creating and generating this content. Some of the benefits, career pathways. We were in the office yesterday and I remember asking Teresa, if you were to go back to high school, would you do a course in media and communications? Well, I've also done media and communications, so it's not like saying it's bad or useless. But she said if she were to go back to school, she would study IT. Because right now, everything is changing. If you have been to GTC, there's like a Carrefour supermarket at GTC Westlands. They have self-checkouts. And you know, some people say that now with AI, they have to fire all cashiers because now they're self-checkouts. I mean, who needs you to sit there? And you'll realize that with these repetitive tasks, like data entry, like the checkouts, if you don't master the digital skills, if you don't get to learn, then it's very easy to be replaced. There are self-checkouts, but there are people who need to manage them. You can't manage that if you're only qualified as a cashier. You need to have this knowledge so that you can be able to manage that. Even trainings nowadays, there's an institution we work with, and when they are giving trainings, they say, we can't train you if you don't have basic computer knowledge or basic IT skills. So for them to even train you, they need you to have that knowledge. So it becomes very difficult if you don't have this knowledge at all. So it's very good for career pathways. Students can start exploring at a very early age so that they can know what area they are interested in. It's competency-based. Learners become creators. They're not just consuming the content, they are also creating the content. This also supports CBC implementation. The core values are creativity, collaboration, communication, critical thinking. When you think of AI, you need all these. I know people say AI makes us lazy or become less creative. But for you to be able to use AI very well, you need to be very creative so that you can get the right thing, so that you can get the best content. It also supports holistic development. The goal is not just to make students smarter. It's to prepare them for the job market so that we don't get the challenges that we are having right now. Right now, people don't do, okay, I know there are some who do, but we're getting to a point where people are not going to be doing packaging courses after high school. I think that's when I did it, after high school. We're getting to a point where people are not going to do that because kids in school are already learning this. And just to emphasize, this is being implemented in very, very many schools. In India, for example, let me just give you a world perspective, then an African one and a Kenyan one. In India, they study AI from grade 6. It's compulsory. It was made compulsory in 2018. In China, STEM is introduced from grade 1. Now, from grade 1, you have to learn programming. You have to learn how to use AI. Grade 1 in China. Now, it's like a Chinese grade 1 student and myself are like, he's probably better than me. I don't know if I should say that. That is what is being done. In Rwanda, they have Smart Classrooms initiative. Students don't necessarily have to be in school to be able to learn. The teacher doesn't have to come to class. In South Africa, students are building AI chatbots. Now, if you say in Africa that I want to teach a grade 5 student to build an AI chatbot, they will, and a student probably learns how to build it. Or I say, I know how to build an AI chatbot. You'll see me as a small lord or a small god. But in reality, it's a very, very simple thing. But we ignore them, and we see that these other courses or these other studies have more relevance than this. So this is very important. In Kenya, Nyeri High School, they have a very active AI club, and they compete with other schools outside the country. We have St. John Paul's. I don't know if the principal is here, Sister Catherine. We went to her school, John Paul II, sometime last year, and we were able to teach students integrating AI into education, using AI to learn, using AI to study with their peers even when they are at home, so that they don't necessarily have to learn when they are in school. And we're able to take almost like half of the class. And during the mentorship session, you realize that most of them are excited about things to do with technology. We have Pangani girls. They even have tech projects with NGOs. Makini schools have a digital literacy program as one of the subjects. So these are just some of the examples, but if you do your research, you'll realize that very many schools in Kenya have integrated or are integrating AI into their curriculum. And it's better to be ready for it so that we do not say that AI is making us lose jobs or it's making us, it's phasing us out, so to say. So consider the idea that I mentioned earlier of having a digital culture club. You don't have to get all students, because I understand it may be a bit challenging, because you can imagine all 300 students needing to use computers. You'll need 300 computers because we are not thinking the same thing. But in the case that you have a digital culture club and identify students who are interested in this, so that once they learn, they can be able to be a very powerful resource to the rest of the schools. You'll find out that the rest of the school and other subjects, you'll find that everyone is moving forward. No one is being left behind. And with that, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. So unless you have a question, I had promised to do something at the beginning. Teresa, is it? Okay. So because of my network issues, I think Teresa will do it. But thank you very much for your time and attention. God bless you.
Goodness, you can help me with that. Every class there is always an exam, so I'm here to give you an exam. So I want us to get to our phones quickly and do something that you can see the practicality of what we are talking about. I'm a teacher, and I'm about to set an exam for my learners at home or present in class. This can happen for both situations. So go to your phone and join my quiz. Please go to your phone and search, just type joinmyquiz.com and use my code to join my class. Is that too hard? Is it too much to ask? Are we joining? join my quiz. It's a simple exam. No one is going to fail. So joinmyquiz.com. I'm on quizzes. This is one space where you can set a class and learners can be able to join from wherever they are. Should I ask by show of hands how many are there so that I can start? Joining my class. Because if you fail, they will laugh at you. Don't worry, I don't know you. So 2 people are joining, 3. So 1 minute and I'll start the game. People are joining. Joinmyquiz.com. We want to do an exam on adjectives. "30 seconds. I want to start my paper. Good. So if your students went home without doing the paper, it can follow them. So we start. So let me start. Are you seeing it from your side? Can you see? So people can keep joining. The code is already there. So I will be ending the test in 2 minutes' time. So be quick. Is it working? So in 1 minute, I'll end the test. Disconnected what? My goodness. So I can be able to see the progress of the learners. Someone is in question number 7 out of 10. Someone is number 4, number 2. So you can also monitor how your kids are doing. Index 1 is finishing. Someone is at question number 9. So can I end the test? Allow me to end the test. It's for learning. You don't have to finish. Someone is still at question number 1. One is at number 10. So allow me to end the test. Yes, I'm sure I want to end it. So. So you can see there is even a chance for me to email the parent the results of the kids. Can you see that option? I can even email their results. So you can see 8 out of 10. So you can see this, that you have the results ready with you. Oh my goodness. So let me go to the reports. It's here. The test is there, the first one, you can see it. So a total of 144 students participated in the paper. Oops. So you can see the analysis of the results. You can see them. Who did what, who got 100, who got 90, 80. You can see the results there. Can you see that? So then you can email the parents the results. And you're done with your paper. So this is quizzes. And so at this point, I want to invite Daktari to give some input. And thank you very much for being attentive. Okay. Cynthia is coming. Karibu, Cynthia.
I'm just taking one of your minutes. I just thought of one resource that you can use to help with learning, like material. I don't know if you've ever used 3D animations to explain your lessons. They're not complicated. They're available on YouTube. For example, this is like how the lungs work. If you want to explain something like the breathing system. So, sorry, it doesn't have sound. But you can see how it tries to explain it. This becomes better and interactive for students. It has sound, but I don't know why it's not playing. All right, sorry, it's not playing the sound, but you can just try to check for 3D animations that explain this process, if it's the breathing system, the digestive system, the menstrual cycle, anything, but specifically focus on 3D animations, because if you just want a video on breathing, it will be very different. But if you want the material that can be very helpful, always search for 3D animation for whatever topic. All right, thank you. Daktari, can finish up.
Good afternoon again. So, we are not robots. Who thinks we are human beings here? Who is seeing the three of us as human beings? We're actually robots. You haven't seen? Okay. Robots are coming. I just want to give you some 3 basic ideas on some of the tools we can show you if you're interested. Of course, LCMC is there. You can reach out to us, and we can train you or your school. But there's one I like. It's called Tiny Wow. Tiny Wow. Just look at that. Tiny Wow. It's already up there. But look at the functions. Everything to do with PDF. Can you see anything to do with the PDF? You can handle it with Tiny Wow. Images, and there are many others, Canva and others. But if you have to handle images, resizing, anything you want to do, there are those possibilities. Now, this is where your children come in. This is where they will catch you napping. You can see they can write sentences. They can do many. They can do paragraphs, essays, insha. This translates even into languages. They can, so just get to know. This is just a sample that these things are there. This is just a demo that not everything you're given may have come. Blogs, if you have a journalism club or this digital culture club. By the way, the synod on synodality put a lot of emphasis on the Catholic Church learning about digital culture, because it's we are not going to escape it. It's a world that's here, and we have to see it as a space of evangelization, including in our schools. And the more we teach, interact with these kids in that space, the better they feel more close to us. So there's a lot of blogging. There are so many things for Instagram, social media, videos, anything you want to do with videos, you can do 1,000. Now, we forgot one category of you. Those of you are very studious. Some of you want to write books. Some of you are writing stuff. Now, this is one beast you need to know called Notebook LM. It's actually very good. It's very good because many of you, I'm sure when you do your academic work, you use ChatGPT. Am I right? Yeah, so that is like going to a mall. Now, in a mall, there are many things, but they are not specialized. Actually, ChatGPT, of course, now they have O1, which is for reasoning, and there is O3 for advanced reasoning. They have all those categories, and if you don't know how to use them, you can get quite confused. But there's something called narrow AI. These are very specialized areas. Like those of you, if you want to write a book, and you have to summarize books, you have to summarize articles, please think about Notebook LM. It's very good. It's excellent. And it doesn't source material outside what you provide it. It's very good with PDF. If you have a Word document, just go to TinyWow, turn it into PDF. This guy will help you synthesize that. And believe me, it can synthesize up to 50 books, articles. Yeah, just one. And it can give you a summary of very many. So if you're one of those who are into academic publishing, you want to write, know this gentleman. It's not the only one, there are many. I also want to draw your attention to, I don't know how Terry didn't talk about I love PDF, but you forgot. Anyway, size space. Can you check for size space? Size space. Can you look for it on your mobile phones? Size space. Anyone got it? Size space? Size space. Anyone got it? gotten it? Have you seen it, SciSpace.ai? Have you gotten it? Anyone? No one has gotten it? You got it? Yeah, it's actually very, very good. It's a library. Basically, there are many others, but just as an example, it's a library. And it's very good for getting books. There is illicit, there's connected papers, but this is an example of how you can get books from where you are. Some of them, of course, are pricing, but this is an example of what you can get directly on your desk in your office, okay? Which is very important. Finally, there's something for policymakers. You all are policymakers. You make decisions day and night. And in your school, you have a lot of data. Now, in data science, there's something called data analytics. You can do a lot of predictions. You can do predictions on how your exams are going to happen, not just from a statistical point of view, which many of you do. So there's statistics, so you can do a statistical analysis, but you can also do a lot of predictive analytics. You can tell if you check trends of your students, you can actually tell how many are going to pass, who are struggling, so that you can begin assisting them before the problem becomes chronic. You can do a lot of projections in your school way ahead because of these predictive analytics tools. So there's a lot of good stuff that you can do. Of course, data analytics is a bit scientific, it's a process, but it's doable. So nowadays there's a lot of focus on using data to make decisions. So traditionally, decision makers like each one of you, you've relied on good counsel from your friends, from your own prayer, from your own interactions. But now there's a lot of focus that you can draw a lot of data insights from the data you have in your school. You have so many, a lot of data sets that can be used by measuring the different metrics within those data sets. So with that, once again, we want to thank the protocol, and we want to thank the organizers, and thank you, the Master of Ceremony, for giving us all this time. Thank you. God bless you.
It has been a wonderful session. During this crucial moment after lunch, I know most of us, or some of us, are a BBC, born before computer, and these things were appearing to us as dreams, but it's a reality, as the doctor put it. ICT or EdTech is with us, so we must embrace it. So at this juncture, I would like to welcome, we have the people's present in the house, who will come and move a vote of thanks to our speakers, led by Dr. Mokua, His Excellency, Mr. Philip Olage, the people's president. Father Philip Olage is from Homa Bay, and is also the Assistant Education Secretary. I would also like to invite Brother William Otieno Ongonga, the head of institution, Canonist St. Raymond Learning Center, Kisumu, who will present our gift to our chief guest in this session, Dr. Mokua. And as they do that, because of time, if you have any question, just write down, forward. They will respond to it, and the Secretariat will make the answers available to all of us. I hope you understand, because we started a bit late, and therefore we want to hurry up so that we may catch up with time to begin our Mass. Welcome, President.
With all the protocols observed, allow me, delegate members, to move a vote of thanks, especially to Dr. Elias Mokua, together with this team, Teresia Muihia and Cynthia Halijiri. You have done quite a wonderful work or job here. For sure, with these people, with our age, nobody was sleeping. And when you are coming, people normally fear anything to do with the computer because we were born before the computers. And we are older than computers. So when a child is coming where old people are, computer is like a child to us. And you have made the computer to be like our age mate. I'm sure many people are yearning even to go back to any computer college. I don't know how you can do it even online. I'm sure these people will register. I'm challenging the Loyola Center to open even computer course online for these people. You will be surprised because they have realized it is important to use computer in the offices for efficiency in their work. We have to congratulate you greatly, and for that matter, let us all stand, because we have learned to educate, Duolingo, we have learned tools, meaning don't think again of jembes, don't think again of pangas when you hear tools. So first of all, let us stress so that we be strong enough. We want club for them with us. We were born before computers, so we'll go the Nyayo way as we adjust to the modern factorial clubs. So it is a combination of old, of Nyayo. Then after that, we'll be having 5 factorial clubs descending. Let us get ready. 1, 2, 3, go. Asanteni sana, Daktari, and your team. It was a wonderful session. Now let us summarize it using now the 5 factorial clubs. How can we go? One. Now we were just rehearsing. Now let us repeat that factorial. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Feel most welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, brother, and present the gift to our guest. Kindly, Dr. Mokoa, rise and take our small gift of appreciation for what you have done this afternoon. Makofi. So if you have questions, you will hand them over to the Master of Ceremonies, Mistress of Ceremonies, that is Sister Grace. I would like to decrease as she increases. There's one time an American man made a statement against Africans that Africans learned nothing and they forgot nothing. Let me hope we have learned something and we shall not forget anything, isn't it? Welcome, Sister Grace.
Thank you. Without taking much time, we really appreciate all of you. And at the same time, we apologize. The program has run beyond time, but we all understand that in the morning we had a session that we all had to be patient because we have to include all of us. Inclusivity was very important, and once one session has eaten time, it eats on the others and so forth. But we are not badly off. Now we want to take very few minutes to change from where we are, change our mindsets and get ready for Mass. But before we do that, the smart brains have left something like this somewhere, wherever you are, check whether you can see a gadget like this. Could be under the chairs or just somewhere behind where you are. So if you have it, please bring it forward. Otherwise, for this moment, we invite Mombasa Metropolitan to take the front seats for the preparation for the liturgy. The people who are helping to set the front side, kindly, as we all get ready for Mass. Let's not take much time outside, and we are calling upon all of us, please, let's be patient and we move to the end.